Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Sean, and I'm from Casper, Wyoming. This is an introductory video and just sort of explaining what the purpose of the channel is and where I go from here. I am reading from a script. I'm not real good at ad-libbing without some sort of direction, and I can get a little wordy, so I apologize for that in advance. The purpose of this channel is basically a video diary of me practicing and going through the process of becoming a better bowler, but also the process of becoming a professional bowler. I got my PBA professional card in late September of this year. Today, as I record this, it's December 1st, 2023. My intention is to bowl a PBA professional regional tournament or two per year. We'll see how I do. If I do well, then maybe I'll do 3 or 4. In another year or so, once I've had some exposure to more oil patterns and more practice, I'd like to compete in an actual PBA national tournament. Now, I wouldn't qualify for that right off the bat because unless something astronomical happens, I wouldn't be a top 50 bowler in the world. So they have a pre-tournament qualifier in which I'd be bowling against other regional bowlers like myself and have to do pretty well, top quarter or so, to move on to the regular tournament. But seeing as how I'm about 25 years behind, my expectations are pretty low. But it would be very cool to compete. Just saying I'm a professional, is an accomplishment in my mind. As I just said, I'm getting a little bit of a late start to being a professional bowler. I'm 42, I'm almost 43 now, but my wife has encouraged me to do this, and some other circumstances have come my way recently. I'll get into those in just a minute. So some history that got me where I am today. Last year, the 2022-23 league season was my first time bowling consistently since really 2003. Last year, I suggested to my wife that we do a bowling league to get out of the house and do something fun for us as a couple, on a regular basis. Now, when I stopped bowling back in 2003, I was finishing up my junior and senior year of college, and so I just didn't have the time. And then when I finished college, I moved out of state, grew up in California, and then moved to Nebraska. Life went on, and I met my wife, and through married life, we sort of moved around and eventually got back here into Casper, Wyoming, which is where my wife is originally from. Last year's league, I established a 181 average on the first night, which isn't really surprising as I was only bowling maybe once a year or so, just with the family on bowling excursions. The next 2 weeks were much the same, little improvement, but then week 4, I just exploded. I bowled a 236, a 223, and a 266 game for a 725 series, which is a 241 average. And it went from there. 31 weeks total in that league, and I only dipped below 600 2 more times after that, while also bowling 8 700 series and a new high game for me of 298. It had been 289 before that, and so I ended the league with the 220 average. Now, that's my history, and for those wondering, my high series is the 751, which I bowled in 2003, I believe. I'm a consistent bowler when I bowl around my average, but I'm inconsistent when I have an outlier game. I'm notorious for bowling a 270, high 260 game and following it up, or having a 180, 190 game within that series as well. So I don't have any 800 series. Hopefully it's something that I can alleviate and fix in time through the work of this channel. But for right now, that's what I have. I'm also sort of bowling with outdated equipment. I have a spare ball I bought back in 1997, and my main ball that I picked up in 2000. And there was one other ball that I had that a friend of mine gave me in 2007. But since then, since I've sort of committed to becoming a pro, I've added to my arsenal, as they call it, a few balls. Still looking to expand, but for right now I have 3 extra balls that I've purchased since then. I'm also a 2-finger bowler, meaning I don't use my thumb at all to deliver the ball, except for when I throw a straight ball that I use for certain spares. That's my background and pertinent history to bowling. I have other stuff from when I was younger, but that's for another time. I'm calling this channel and myself the Amateur Professional, or TAP for short. To me it makes sense. I'm 20 years removed from the last time I bowled consistently. Bowling balls are completely different than I remember. Synthetic lanes are widespread and basically universal. They were sort of in their infancy in 2003. And oil patterns they're more precise, and there's also a lot more of them. So a lot has changed, and I'm still learning and educating myself to all this. That's ultimately what this channel is for. My learning and improvement and development as a bowler. Now, on paper, I am a professional, but I don't feel like it. I'm hoping in time that this video diary of a channel will make me feel and be a professional in time. I'm not delusional. While I am a fairly solid bowler, I'm not a great bowler, and I have a lot of improvement needed to get there. And finally, the other circumstances that I mentioned earlier in this prolonged verbose introduction. I was diagnosed with testicular cancer after a removal surgery in early September of this year. It was caught early. It was only stage 1, so that's really good. And the 2 leagues that I'm in this bowling year started about 10 days after that first surgery, so I didn't start off real great. In the beginning of October, I started 17 rounds of radiation therapy to my stomach, my gut, to hopefully prevent what they call the gateway area for testicular cancer to migrate in the future. So hopefully that preventative step I won't have to deal with it in the future. Took a lot out of me. This isn't my first cancer diagnosis, but another story for another time. I'm now about 5 weeks past my last radiation session, and I'm really starting to actually feel like myself again. And that's translating to my league play as well. So directly after the surgery and then into the radiation, I was struggling to break 600. So last year I ended with a 220 average. So expectation is to bowl about a 650 series or so per week. I mean, that's sort of the goal that I had in mind. But I was struggling to break 600 on a consistent basis, and I didn't have any games over 250. But that leads to the last 2.5 weeks. And in the last 2.5 weeks, I've bowled now 2 700 series and 2 games in the 250s. So I'm happy, and I'm ready to continue to improve. I'll be posting my first practice session, which I've already recorded, in a day or two, with 2 formats. The first being basically an unedited, full commentary, full-time recording of my session. I bowled 5 games, and it adds up to being about 50 minutes, a little over 50 minutes. The second format that I'll be uploading will be called Just the Shots, of which I will basically edit the footage to just show the shots. And you won't have commentary because it won't have proper context, so I will take out the commentary, the verbal commentary, but I will throw in some captioned commentary when necessary, and we'll see how it goes. And I guess this wouldn't be a proper YouTube video unless the channel person told you to like and subscribe. So to wrap up this introduction, I wanted to go through my intentions for the direction of this channel. As I said earlier, this channel will largely be a video diary of my progression and improvement as a bowler and a professional. It would also force me to look at my work and also go through the data of my practice sessions to see where I'm doing well and what needs improvement. So I will be posting mostly practice sessions, working on some aspect of my game that I believe needs to be addressed, but also practice videos of myself trying and experiencing challenge, sport, and professional oil patterns to increase my knowledge base, challenge me, and then also prepare me for regional and national PBA events. I will assume more ideas will come as I continue this channel, but for now, that's what I have in mind. Thank you all for watching, sticking with me through my little prolonged introduction, history, and the purpose of the channel. Hoping my future videos and commentary bring joy to those, just respite from regular day-to-day life, and maybe some inspiration to others. So for now, I am the amateur professional, or TAP,